everyone and welcome back to our Stitch Sisters YouTube channel. I'm afraid it's just me today, Rachel, in case you're wondering, because people say we're like Ant and Dec and no one quite knows which one is which. But I am Rachel. Nikki is sunning herself in Sicily at the moment. And we thought that rather than have a complete break, because I go on holiday while she's away, so it would be 3 weeks without filming. We thought maybe it would be a good opportunity for us to do a solo video for you. So I did a poll on Instagram this week to ask what you would like to see from me on my own, and I had a few options. So the suggestions that I'd made were for a tour of my house, because a lot of my pictures people ask about my kitchen and stuff. Also a quick peek in my wardrobe, and then I asked people whether they'd be interested in seeing my vintage pattern stash, and the overwhelming response was that you guys want to see my fabric. You want to see my fabric stash. So I thought that I would pop on here today and just film a little video for you. Now, I'm not quite sure logistically how I'm going to do this yet. I think it's probably better for you to actually see the fabric. So what I'm going to do, I think, is actually film my fabric and where I store it, so that you can have a look at it all. It's all into sections, so that should be simple to do. And then what I might do is pick 2 or 3 of my favorites from each section and then come back and actually talk you through why I bought them and what they're for. So let me show you the fabric. Right, so I've managed to find a way to rig up the camera so that you can get me and my fabric in the same shot. So I have these IKEA calyx units in my sewing room, and I use them to store all of my fabric, and it doesn't look like a huge amount really. So it's just these 5 cubbies. There are a few others dotted around the sewing room, more recent purchases, things that haven't been folded and put away properly. But what I find is that if I have you have a piece of cardboard that is cut to the size and the depth of the little cubby holes, and that allows me to fold my fabric so it fits perfectly, which means that this might not look like a huge amount, but most of these pieces are 2 or 3 or 4 meters. So when you think about it, that is quite a lot of fabric really. So what I have is in here, I have my, these are my synthetic fabrics. So from here up is all rayons, polyesters, viscoses, all that stuff. From here down is my vintage cottons. Obviously, I'll give you close-ups of these in a minute. Then in here, I have my sweater knits and heavier jerseys. I also keep my ribbing in here as well. Then moving on up to here, these are all of my trouser weight or upholstery weight fabrics, so bottom half fabrics I call them. And then on the far side there, on the top here, these are all my cottons, 100% cottons, and then this one here is all of my knit fabrics. So I've got jerseys and scubas and stretch velvet and all sorts of other loveliness in there. So I'm going to take the camera off the tripod so that I can zoom in and give you some close-ups. So this is the first cubby here. I apologise if I'm very shaky. I'm so used to using a tripod that I'm probably going to be jumping around all over the place. But let me just give you a quick click through. So there's a bright yellow bubble crepe there. There's a polyester gingham. And then there's the leftover crepe or georgette from my culottes, my Winslow culottes. This is a textured crepe as well, I think. Actually, no, that's a peak. And then we've got a couple of viscoses, there's some palms, there's some florals there for shirts for my hubby, and then there's this crinkled jersey that I've had for ages. There's another couple of viscose jerseys in there, there's a gauze, another one there, there's a chiffon with lips all over it, and then there's a heavy polyester with leaves, big leaves all over it. And then this one here is a beautiful viscose in all my favourite colours. Don't know why I've not done anything with that yet. And then we've got a polyester crepe, I think that is, in this bright red lynx fabric. And then moving down from there, I've got vintage cottons. So these are all very old, things I found at car boot sales, things people have given to me. There's a couple of modern ones in there. I think that's a Fabricland purchase. And the one right at the bottom there, I think is a curtain actually. I think it's an IKEA curtain. But I put them in my vintage collection because they just have kind of a more retro vibe. I haven't bought vintage fabrics for a long time, for many, many years, because I just find that modern fabrics just wash so much better. So you won't find that many in there. So moving along here, this is the knit cubby just here. So we've got some mustard ponte at the top there. We've got some textured peak jersey there in the blue and white. And we've got some black sweatshirting. We've got this wine coloured sweater knit that's very thin. And then another warmer brown sweater knit there. Got ribbing in blue, dark grey and light grey. There's a little bit of this cable knit jersey from Higgs and Higgs left over. And this beautiful sweater knit from Race Stitch there. And underneath there, some cheeky little foxes. And a little bit of mustard sweater knit there. So they're all ready for some cardies when we get into the winter. Moving on up here, this is the colourful one. So I've got such a wide table that I'm practically climbing on it now to show you this. So this is some amazing rainbow batik that I bought from Doughty's recently. That was destined to be a skirt, but I've got so much of it that it might be something else. And then I've got this lovely navy wide pinstripe that's destined to be a pair of wide leg trousers. This is some vintage fabric. It's acrylic, but it's just the most amazing colours. But it just feels so scratchy that I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with that. Then we've got some mustard suiting here, and then a hot pink. This is like a, I don't even know what you'd call this. I'll try and zoom in so you can see the texture. It won't focus, but yeah, it's kind of like this waffle. It is polyester. Again, it's vintage. I had visions in my head of a hot pink shift dress, but I don't know when that's going to happen. Then we've got some cord, needle cord. This green stuff is beautiful fabric that my brother bought me back from Morocco, which I've used to upholster my dining room chairs, but they need to be done again really, so that's what the rest of it is for. And then we've got some geometric upholstery fabrics there. I think that's a vintage pillowcase. And then there's some more geometrics. This is a beautiful 7-berry sort of linen look fabric that I bought to make a skirt. And then we've got some tartan just here. It's just a poly tartan. And then we've got this lovely Oxford blazer style navy and gold stripe, which is kind of like a cotton linen. And there's another cotton linen underneath that. This is a black blue cotton linen, which just creases so much, so I haven't found the right pattern for that. Then there's some blue flipper, which is a polyester suiting with a little bit of stretch, but it's really, really comfy. And I've made a couple of ultimate trousers and stuff out of them, so I don't know what that one's going to be. I'm just going to move over to the other side. So moving over to the other side, and I'm actually sat on the table now because there's no other way of getting to it. But I've got a whole host of cottons in here, and these are either mainly dressmaking cottons, but they're in all sorts of different weights. So this is just a basic cotton that I bought to make a shirt for my hubby. It's white with black and brown spots on it, like dashes. And then we've got some dark blue chambray. We've got this amazing fabric, which I'll get out in a minute because it's one of my favourites from Race Stitch. It's a border fabric. This is the rest of the duvet cover left over from my Jessica dress that I made last week. And then we've got a couple of different shirtings. I'd love a striped shirting. There we go. Toucans. This is a 7-berry fabric. It's a lovely toucans. We've got a lighter chambray there. Then we've got dragonflies, another 7-berry dragonflies. Oh. And then this is a cotton sateen, which is in beautiful colours, but not really my colour, so I'm not really sure why I bought that. And then this is one of the Alice in Wonderland fabrics, in just this deep green. That was planned to be a Susie blouse, I think, so must get round to that. And then this hummingbird voile, which is beautiful, was due to be a Itch to Stitch Zamora pussy bow blouse, so hopefully I'll get round to that this autumn. And then there's this lovely geometric one, which I think is supposed to be something similar. Then this here is a wax print. This is a peacock design African wax print, which Nikki and I have plans for a video. It's going to be another DIY tutorial, no pattern, so stay tuned for that. And then this is an amazing digital print cotton. I just love the colours on that I got from Doughty's a while back. And then we've got some beautiful peacocks and more peacocks and more peacocks. I like a peacock. We've got a stripe. It's just like a rainbow stripe, but it's only a quilt cotton, so it's not that wide, and I think there's only 2 meters, so I haven't found anything to do with that yet. Then we've got flamingos. We've got a red chambray. We've got, this is kind of like a herringbone effect, brown, palm trees. There's a couple of florals, a couple of ditzy florals in there. And then that's a psychedelic Amy Butler. This one's got ice creams on it. This is just a basic shirting that was going to be pajamas at one point. Navy and white spot. Some leopard print sateen. And retro orange spot. And plain white. Okay, so that's all the cottons. I think there's probably more of those than anything else. Moving down to the knits, I tend to get through knits quite quickly, so they don't stay in my stash for long. I think because I wear a lot of knits, they're quick and easy to sew, they're really easy to wear, to wash, all that stuff. So this one on the top is destined to be a pencil skirt, and then this is power mesh that I'm going to use to line it. Mimi G did a post about using power mesh to turn your pencil skirts into Spanx, so I'm quite keen to try that. And then this is an amazing, I call it Frida Kahlo, but it's not at all, it's called Aquarium. And it's a scuba, a Lady McElroy scuba, which again I think is going to be a pencil skirt. This is Nikki's leftover fabric from her Kylo wrap dress. She had loads left, so she gave it to me. It's very kind. Then we've got a bright red cotton interlock. We've got a bright orange or burnt orange tissue jersey. And then some navy ponte, some teal ponte. This is like a Hawaiian print jersey. This is, I don't know how that ended up in my stash. I think that's Nikki's. I just think she gave it to me when she realised she was never going to use it. But that's not really my style either, so I'm not sure I'll ever use that. I keep it for muslins. And then this is some leftover stretch velvet from a dress that I made last Christmas. We've got some white scuba. This is a lightweight scuba sort of swimwear fabric, which is kind of tropical. And then we've got a couple of retro jerseys. There's a mod spot there from Girl Charlie and a monochrome print. And then this is actually jersey, but it looks like pinstripe suiting, so that's quite handy. And then a peach spot. And then I think at the bottom there, look, there's Santa. That was supposed to be a Christmas dress for my daughter, but I never got around to it. So that'll come out at some point, I'm sure. So let me go and choose a few of my favourites from each section, and then I'll come back and talk you through what they're planned for and why I love them. Right, so I'm back and I've grabbed a few from each of the sections to show you in a bit more detail. So look at this pile of loveliness. That's just a few. See, when I hold that and you realise how much fabric is still in there, then you realise quite how much I've got. I clearly have a problem, but I think we all do, don't we? All of us sewists do. And I'm really glad that you asked me to do this video, because what it's made me realise is I just don't get my fabric out enough to have a little stroke and just to admire its beauty, because some of it's been there for a long time and I haven't even got specific plans of what to do with it. So it's nice to go through it all and to remind myself of what is there, maybe spark some creativity, get the juices flowing, give me some ideas. But it's also got me really excited about autumn, because I've been so enjoying this really long summer that we're having in the UK, and all I'm thinking about is making more and more summer dresses, and which the rest of the year I convinced myself that the last thing I need is more summer dresses, but then with this weather that we've been having, finally I do. So I've been distracted by that, but now I'm starting to get ideas in my head. Also, this week I wrote a blog post for our round 3 Battle of the Culottes, which is all about how to style your culottes for autumn and winter. So that's got me in a kind of an autumn mindset now as well. So let me show you what I've picked, and I don't know how well the camera's going to focus. I might have to actually just pick it up and show you, but we'll do our best. I'm going to hold it in front of my face because then you'll actually be able to see properly. So first of all, the cottons. I've picked this one just because I think you need to see it in all its glory, really, because it's such a beautiful fabric. This is a digital print from Doughty's. They had a whole range of them. I'm not sure they've got that many left. It really reminds me, when you get a print this vibrant, usually it's a quilt cotton, which means it's narrow, but this one isn't. This one is a full width dressmaking cotton. Just having a look on the label. It's called A Spark of Happiness Design Yogi, is what it says on it, on the selvage. I'm just seeing if it gives me any more information that I can tell you in case you want to go and look for something similar. But no, that's it, Design Yogi. But I think it's just so beautiful. Although, I don't know whether to say this on camera or not, I might edit this out. But when you look carefully, is anyone else seeing something else in that design that maybe you shouldn't? Or is that just my brain? Don't judge me. Right, I still love it. The next cotton is, I mean, what's not to love about 2 cans all in a row. Look at them. They're just amazing. So this is a 7-berry fabric. It's from Doughty's again, and that's just because we've had a few trips there recently. Obviously the other fabric shops are available and we love them all equally. But they also do us a very nice discount, so thank you for that, Matt. But yeah, this is 2 cans and it's a 7-berry print, and again it's narrow, so I think I've got 2.5 meters, and I think that's going to be a blouse at some point, a blouse or a shirt. I just think it's so fun. So that's my second favourite cotton, but my number 1 favourite cotton is this one here. So I bought this on a recent trip to Doughty's. I could only afford a metre. It was £25 a metre. I'm just trying to hold it where you can actually see. Don't know how well you can see. It's quite dark in my sewing room and I have set up a light, but I don't know if that's enough. So, but it's got this amazing jungle print, and then it goes into this border print. So I don't know what I can make with a metre of that. If you've got any suggestions, I would love to hear them, but I had to have it. It's so beautiful. And I'm a budget queen when it comes to fabric. You know, £10 a metre is my limit a lot of the time. 12 if it's something really fancy. Maybe 15 if it's coat fabric. So I basically, I'm always looking for a bargain. But when I find something I really love, then I can't resist. Then I will buy a small amount of it, and it can just sit in my stash to be stroked, or one day I'll come up with a plan. So next up is the jerseys. So this is a scuba. I just wanted to show you closer up. This is what I call my Frida Kahlo. Can you see why I call it that? It's just the vibrant colours. I just think it really reminds me of her artwork. But I might be wrong, and you know, maybe no one else can see that. But it is kind of this sort of Aquarius, sort of subterranean, but in brilliant bright colours. So that's going to be a pencil skirt at some stage, lined with that power mesh. And then this is a girl Charlie fabric that I bought in the sale ages ago. It's called Mod Spot. And this one I have in my head to be do a pussy bow tie hack of the Coco, the Tilly and Buttons Coco. I just think it would be really easy to chuck on. So I will share that with everybody if I end up drafting that. So if you're interested, so that's what I'm thinking for that one. Then moving on to sweater knits, this one, you're not going to see it really because it's the feel of it really, but this I bought from Race Stitch last year before. It's the most softest, loveliest sweater knit. Again, it was 18, maybe £20 a metre, so I did only get 1.5, I think, but I just thought that would be enough for a super cosy sweater. I've just not found the perfect pattern, and that's why I haven't cut into it yet, because I want something that's cropped and boxy but not too boxy, although this does have a lot of drape, so I think it would sit quite nicely even though it was oversized. So any pattern suggestions, again, please do share them with me because I would love to hear from you. Then this one here, this is a mustard ponte. It's from the textile centre. Whenever I see anything that I really like and it's a neutral, then I'll just get 3 or 4 meters of it because I know it's just a good thing to have in my stash. But this one I have earmarked to be the Kinder cardigan from the Sewing with Knits by Wendy Ward, because I just think it's a perfect oversized cardi that I'll get loads and loads of wear of in the autumn. I tend to have like a couple of favourite oversized cardis, and I live in them, and they're just like house coats. Because my house gets quite cold because it's an old cottage, so unless it's really hot outside, it's always cold in my house. So I quite like having a little something that I can chuck on the second I get in the door and basically live in until I go to bed, and then put it on as soon as I wake up in the morning. So it is like my version of a house coat. Then, oh, that one I grabbed by mistake. That's just a tartan, but I think it was on top of something else. So let me get those out of the way because they're not supposed to be there. So this is another Sevenberry fabric, but I just wanted to show you close up so you could see the texture. So I remember the lady in the shop telling me that this is made by the same people that make Liberty fabric. It's a Japanese fabric, but it's the same factory that make Liberty fabrics. And it's, what's it called? It just says Sevenberry, it doesn't say anything else. But it's like a cotton linen, but it's got this amazing crosshatch slub in it. So it's really textured and it just feels lovely. And even though it's quite a lightweight fabric, the texture seems to give it a bit more body. So I'm looking forward to making that. I think I had planned like a short gathered skirt for that, something like the Clement skirt. Sorry, I forgot to turn my phone off. The Clement skirt in the Tilly and the Buttons first book, but I may well just draft my own one. But yeah, I'm just thinking quite a short mini skirt, but quite heavily gathered, wear with tights and boots. So I don't know if that's still my plan, but that was my plan originally. And that was bought with the toucan fabric. It was going to be an outfit. So maybe I'll get around to that sooner or later. Then this one I just love. This is the Oxford Blazer fabric that I was telling you. It's from Fabworks. I think they might even still sell it. And it's just amazing. It's navy blue and it's got this gold wide stripe, and it's some sort of linen blend. It's quite crispy. And so I had planned to make a blazer with it. I was going to make the Morris blazer. I've since made the Morris blazer in a muslin. I made it up in a navy ponte and I never ever wear it, so I don't think that that's going to be the right option. I think I might prefer something that's a little bit more, I don't know, casual, smart, I don't know. I need to give it some more thought. So yeah, I had intended to make it a jacket, but now I've got it back out. I just think it's such a versatile fabric. It could be anything really. So I don't know how much I've got of it, probably 2.5 meters. So I will give that some thought. Now I've got a couple of my vintage fabrics here. So I bought this one at one of the Stitch shows. There's always a seller there that sells original vintage fabrics, and I just love this one. It reminds me of the dresses that my mum used to wear when I was little. And I've got a picture pinned on my Pinterest, and it's for this 1960s shift dress. It has this big wide sleeve, and then it has it's a high neck, but then it has this huge white collar, and I kind of, as soon as I saw that, I thought that would be perfect to recreate that dress. So that's in my head. It's never made it any further than that. And then this one I got off of eBay. This is an original 1950s fabric, and it's kind of a lightweight cotton. It's almost like a gauze. It's quite a loose weave, but it's got these amazing flowers on it, and I just love it so much that I don't know what I want to turn it into, which is why it stayed there for so long. But it just feels amazing. It's so soft. And drapey, and you know, it's narrow because it's very old, but it's in amazing condition. So so yeah, I'm just gonna think on that one for a bit longer. This one I think I bought from the Fabric Man, so he's an eBay seller, but these are all my colours all year round. Red, blue and mustard. I just absolutely love them. So this is a viscose or rayon, and I think I had planned to make a deer and doe dress with it. It's kind of a, I can't remember what it's called, it begins with an A. If I find pictures for any of this stuff, I'll put it in when I edit. But yeah, I think that's what it was planned to be. I'll have to have another look at the dress and see if that's what I still want it to be. I might have even printed it off. I think I've printed it off. So in that case it will be that at some stage. But that was a couple of autumns ago, so I need to crack on with that. And then my next two, which are also viscoses, so I've got a viscose twill here and just a viscose chalet. These are both from Fabricland, which is the cheapest chips shop. I think they were £5 a metre each, but they are so gorgeous. So this one is a mustard, and it's got these beautiful magenta flowers on it. But this is the viscose, actually I don't even know if it is a twill. It's kind of almost got a linen feel to it, so I should be making it for summer, because I think it'd be beautiful in a summer dress. I've always thought maybe a shirt dress, like a Callie shirt dress, but the long, yeah, the shirt dress version, just something really light and airy, that makes me feel feminine because of the print, but it's not too girly and still quite casual. So thinking about that. And then for this one, just look at those beautiful coral flowers. So it's a navy blue background, it's got these white and coral flowers, and it's gorgeous. Now again, both of these last two have stayed in my stash. Oh, it does look good on me too, look at that. Oh yes, perfect. I need to get on with that one. They've stayed in my stash for so long, not because they're special, because they're quite cheap, but just because I know I couldn't get any more, and I love them so much that I think I need to sort of think it through properly and then decide what to do with it. So there you go, there's some of my favourites. So my camera's about to die, so I'm going to say a very quick goodbye. I hope you've enjoyed having a look through my fabric stash. The third part of the culottes battle of the culottes round 3 is coming on Friday. Round 4 will be coming next week, and we've also got a dress review for you coming next week, and then the week after that I'll be away, but Nikki may well do a solo video for you if she has the time. Otherwise I'm sure we've got something else up our sleeves for you. So hope you have a great week, and we'll be back soon. Take care guys, bye.